Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now in the last two classes, we have seen the basic structure of our hypothetical village Palampur and we have discussed about how the various factors should be organized for any production activity. Okay. Now today we will see how farming is done in Palampur. Now it may come to your mind why we need to know about farming. See, Palampur is a village and here 75% of the people depend on agriculture and related non-farming activities. So it is obvious that their standard of living and well-being is closely related to their farm production. Okay? Now, as we know, land is the fixed factor of production and for farming, of course, you need land. But the major constraint of land as a factor of production is that it is fixed. Now, if you think practically, suppose you have 3000 square feet of land today. Now, overnight, will it become 6000 square feet? Of course not. And also try to think the land on Earth's surface is of course fixed, but the population goes on increasing. Okay. Now coming down to Palampur, here also the population of the village keeps increasing and so is the need of the people. Now because the need for food is increasing, what they have done? Now they have converted all the wastelands. Now what do we mean by wasteland here? It is relatively less fertile or barren land, which they have started cultivating, growing crops in them as well, in the wastelands as well. So there is no further scope of expanding the land area under cultivation. Now another thing is, if you look at the structure, facilities available in our hypothetical village Palampur, it very much resembles a village of the western Uttar Pradesh. Okay, people here are hardworking. They are either farmers or working as farm laborers in others' farms. No land is left idle. That means throughout the year they keep growing crops. Like in monsoon or rainy season, they grow kharif crops like jawar, bajra, etc. Now from this they also get the fodder to feed their cattle, which is a byproduct. Okay. Then they grow potatoes in between October to December before the onset of winter, that is. Then in winter again they grow rabi crops like wheat. If they get enough to feed their families, then good enough. And if they get surplus amount, now what is surplus? It is excess of production over need. When they produce more than what they need, what do they do with that? They sell them in the neighboring village like Raiganj. Why? Because they have good connectivity and transport available. We have already seen that. Okay. Now also they have an annual crop which is sugar cane. It is harvested once in a year. For this they have devoted a part of their land area. Now what they are doing with this sugar cane? They generally sell this sugar cane and the jaggery that they make out of it in Sahapur, which is the neighboring town, and earn good enough from that. Okay. Now again this is possible due to their all-weather road and transport availability. Right. Now if you get a question like what are the different possible ways of increasing productivity from the fixed land, the first way is what we have just discussed, that is multiple cropping, okay, which is practiced in Palampur. What do? They grow 2 or more crops in the same piece of land during the year. Almost all the farmers here practice this natural way. This is a natural way. This multiple cropping which we are talking of right now, it is a natural way of increasing productivity in the fixed land. Now the second way is by facilitating better irrigation in the farm. Now earlier even in Palampur people used to use Persian wheels for irrigation, okay, which is a low end thing, okay. But now they have seen that if they can go for electrification of the irrigation, then they can irrigate much larger areas of land more effectively. So they have gone for electrification of irrigation facility. They also have their private tube wells, some of which were set up by the government and others they have installed themselves. Alright. Now, if you see Palampur, which is our dream village, our hypothetical village, is much better than most of the villages of our country, which are largely dependent on monsoon rains for their farming. Even today, less than 40% of the total cultivated area in our country is irrigated, which are mostly riverine plains and coastal regions. Others are still dependent on mostly rainfall, that is monsoon rainfall, in order to carry on their agricultural activity. So they cannot go for farming throughout the year, right? They have a constant here, because all villages in reality are not so picture perfect, not so blessed to have almost all facilities available with them. However, coming down to our Palampur, this is the second way of increasing productivity in the fixed land, which is better irrigation facility. Okay. Now another way, which we can call the third way of increasing productivity, is modern farming method. Here what all has changed, let's see. Earlier people used traditional seeds which gave less yield. Now yield means the crops produced during a season. Okay, the farm output you can say. Alright. Now but these traditional seeds, they needed less irrigation and not much fertilizer or pesticides were required here. Okay, in the traditional seeds we are talking about right now, which they used to use before 1960s. Okay, they simply used cow dungs and other natural manures which were readily available with them. So basically they did not need much of the working capital for these all traditional methods. But now after 1960s, what has happened? In the late 1960s, there was green revolution. The farmers used HYVs or high yielding variety seeds, which are basically genetically modified seeds, to give high yields, or let's say revolutionary boost to the farm output. Now the output produced increased remarkably as compared to earlier. Okay, here. Now states like Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, Western Uttar Pradesh, were the first to try out this modern farming method. So we can say that green revolution started in these three states in the late 1960s. Then others got inspired by these and started adopting these methods. But here you have to notice one thing, that these high yielding variety seeds alone cannot boost productivity. They have to be combined with much more water. They require more irrigation, that is chemical fertilizer and pesticides as compared to the traditional seeds. And also people now started using other modern farming machineries like tractors, threshers, etc. So they now need more working capital. Undoubtedly, they have to spend massively on these seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, modern tools, machineries, right? And in return, they got much more crops than what they used to get traditionally. And the best effects were seen in wheat production. There was huge boost in wheat production. Alright. Now, the question comes, is it a win-win situation altogether, or there are some downsides or some drawbacks of green revolution? Now you may get a question like, what are the adverse effects of using modern farming techniques? Or you can get a question like, what are the adverse effects of green revolution? The answer is same here. Okay, that we will see. Okay, the answer will be same of both these questions. Now the question is, will the land sustain? Okay, so see what happened. See what happened here is, by using these modern farming methods, we are overusing our natural resources. How? Because now we are more demanding. We want more and more, many times more productivity from the same piece of land. We are putting intensive pressure on the soil. These high yielding variety seeds, which require massive use of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, by using them for longer period of time, the soil fertility is lost. Earlier, the soil used to be more fertile. Now, after we use these chemical fertilizers, here the land is slowly losing its fertility. Its natural fertility is lost. If you don't use these chemical fertilizers, you may end up with very less productivity now. Okay, And another bad impact is groundwater table. Now, because these HYB seeds require plenty of water, more irrigation is required. We went on using more and more water through tube wells and pumps, as a result of which the groundwater table is depleting remarkably. Now, these all natural resources, soil fertility and groundwater, they take years for building up. And now we are destroying them like anything, which might never be able to be restored. Right? And another thing is, when we use so much of fertilizer, this chemical fertilizers, no doubt they increase productivity in the short run, but some of these chemicals also escape through the soil and they pollute the groundwater. They kill the bacteria, the good bacteria and the microorganisms in the soil too. As a result, the soil becomes much more less fertile than ever before. So the answer to the question, which is will the land sustain, is of course no. The land will not be able to sustain. We have to have a balance, taking care of the next generation. No doubt for now our farm productivity is increasing, making our life better. But what about our next generation? Our environment, our natural resources? So these are some of the serious matters which must be taken care of, right? So we'll stop here. I hope the session was helpful. Now we'll take up the next session in the next class. Now see you in the next class. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye.